In my previous video, I showed you how to do a wrap and turn. And part of that wrap and turn is instructed by your pattern will tell you how to work your the bottom of that wrap and turn, which is the little loop that goes around the stitch. So I'm going to be showing you how to work that wrap and turn. So what I've done is I have knit to the center of my swatch here. And your pattern will tell you how many stitches past the center that they want you to work in order to complete your short row. So I'm going to go another 2 stitches past my center stitch and do my wrap and turn. And just a quick review on the wrap and turn is you'll slip your stitch as if to purl, bring your yarn to the front, slip the stitch back, turn around, and work back. Now I'm going to be working back another 2 stitches past my center stitch. And I'll be doing another wrap and turn. So I'm going to slip my stitch, bring my yarn to the front, slip my stitch back, and turn around. Now as I'm going back, you will notice that this is the stitch that you did your wrap and turn on. This will be the stitch that we're going to be working this little bit lower part of the stitch. It's called your wrap. So I'm going to be knitting back to the stitch that we just did our wrap and turn on to here. Now when this is a knit stitch, you're on the knit side, you're going to be inserting your needle from the bottom up underneath that wrap and into your stitch that's on your needle, and you're going to be knitting both of those together. So you're actually trapping that stitch that was, or the part of that that was the wrap, and sliding it off. Now your pattern will tell you how many stitches past your worked wrap and turn to do. I'm going to go another 2 stitches, and I'll do another wrap and turn. So I'm going to slip my stitch, bring my yarn to the front, slip my stitch back onto my left needle, and turn around, ready to work back across my work and completing another short row. So I'm going to purl over to my wrap and turn that I did on the purl side. I'll be purling over. The purl stitches worked a little bit different than the knit stitch when you're taking care of your wrap that's around your stitch on the purl side. So here's my wrap that I did around my stitch. And so what I'm going to do is take the tip of my needle and go into the back. Let me pull my yarn over here. So you can see that I'm coming underneath that wrap, and I'm going to set that wrap on top of the tip of my needle. And then I will be purling those 2 together. And I'll purl 2 more stitches past my wrap and turn. And I'm going to demonstrate how to work that wrap again, just so you get the idea how to make it work with your pattern. So I'm going to do another wrap and turn. I'm going to slip my stitch from my left needle onto my right needle, bring my yarn to the front, slip my stitch back, and turn around. I'll be working back to my wrapped stitch that I haven't worked yet. So I'll be knitting back over here. Now I'm to my wrapped stitch. Here's my wrap. And remember, for the knit stitch, we're going to come underneath the wrap into our stitch on the needle as if to knit, and knitting through both the wrap and the stitch. I'm going to knit 2 stitches past, the stitch is on there backwards, 2 stitches past my last wrap, do a wrap and turn, slip my stitch, bring my yarn to the front, slip it back, turn around, and I'm going to purl back to my last purled stitch and demonstrate one more time how to work that purl wrap. Okay, here is my wrapped stitch, and you can tell the difference between your wrapped stitch and your other stitches. First of all, here's your wrap, but second of all, there's a little bit of a gap between your wrapped stitch and the rest of your stitches you've been working. So for the purl stitch, remember I'm going to come into the back and pick up the back of this wrap that comes around my stitch. Here it is, this little guy right here. I'm going to put my needle into that little wrap. I'm going to set it on top of the tip of my needle, and I'm going to be purling those two together, securing that wrap. And then I can continue with my purling. Now I'll just purl to the end of my row, and that will show you how to not only do a wrap and turn, but when your pattern tells you to work the wrap, that's what it's referring to. And there you have it. Your how to do a wrap and turn and secure your wrap.